We're here at the Kentucky Bourbon Festival in Bardstown, and I have with me from O.H. Ingram River Aged Bourbon, Scott Beyer, their blender extraordinaire. Does that work? Would that
Sure,
work good on the card?
I'll take blender. Sure.
So how are you doing, man?
Very good, very good. We're halfway through the KBF. It's an uphill battle, but we're surviving. Actually, we're thriving today. We got a fan back here now, so everything's good.
Well, I was going to say, for y'all to be able to, let people try your stuff at a place like this with tons of bourbon enthusiasts, how important is it to get those, glass to lips and let them try that?
It's crucial. I hate, it's like moist for me. I hate the term liquid to lips, but it is super important. There's a lot of whiskey on the shelves now and a lot of stuff that's fantastic, but $60 to $90 for a bottle of something that you haven't tried, that's a big ask. So being able to come here, try a bunch of different stuff, especially from smaller brands, is super important. And you find hidden gems like this, like anybody in this tent. So,
well, for y'all, the River Aged, can you explain what you all are doing that is different than other folks?
Yeah. So we are, as of now, the only. In the United States, the only floating barrel house. So we retrofit old grain barges, we turn them into rick houses, and what we'll do is take all new make, we contract distill, and it comes to us next day, and then they're on the barges their whole lives. So we're contract distilling with Green River, so it's an awesome whiskey already, and then we get to focus on maturation and blending and really put our own touch as to what alternative aging can actually do to a whiskey. So it's not just like a finishing agent. It's not meant to be a gimmick. We don't shortcut the maturation process. We've just found a way to enhance it by subjecting these barrels to a really, really harsh and uncomfortable to work in environment. So.
I was going to say, because when you think about it, the water can do a whole lot of different things, right?
Yeah.
Maybe keep temperatures from getting too warm at times, but also maybe getting too cold. So, and it's also moving. It's not never stationary. So I'm guessing that was an interesting thing to see when you finally tried one of these barrels.
Yeah. So, there's three factors that really play into part of what we do. So constant movement, that's the obvious one. You're seeing more interaction between whiskey and oak. It's more surface area activation. We have high humidity all year round, and then we have pretty extreme diurnal shifting. So your day and nighttime temperatures. So we're seeing in those 130s during the day, but being that it's a giant metal container with a fiberglass top, the specific heat of steel is lower than what you would see in a traditional rick house. So all that heat will get pulled out in the course of a day. So you're seeing that expanding and contracting of the barrel happening at an accelerated rate, and it's produced some pretty awesome stuff.
Shall we try some of that? What do we got in our glass?
Yeah,
right now?
So this was awesome timing for us. We've unveiled the 2024 flagship during the Kentucky Bourbon Festival. So this is some of the first product that we ever bought from OZ Tyler, which is now Green River. And so this is our high rye mash bill.
Ooh,
it's
I'm already liking it.
It's over 6 years, and it's spent its whole life on the barge. And it's 117.7 proof. So this was a really small batch blend. It was super fun to work with. Everything we do is really as a team. So I'll come up with a few batches that I like, but it's majority role when it comes to what gets produced. So this was actually a unanimous pick, so it was really easy. But yeah, I'm very happy with this one. So cheers.
That's a good nose.
Oh yeah, it's got a lot of character. It's got a lot of depth as you go through it. It starts with like the sweet toasted marshmallow. It moves into some of those rye spices up front of the palate. It finishes really soft. You get some creaminess, that toasted coconut on the end, and it'll keep changing. It's a very long finish, but it's a beautiful whiskey.
That's like a little roller coaster.
And it'll keep going.
And I mean that in the best way possible. I love that. Now, for this, what's the price point on something like this for y'all?
So, our limited releases, because we have so few of them, they end up being in the 90 range. But our standard products, like our bourbon or our rye, they're typically in the 60s. It depends on the state, obviously. And then our first product that we ever launched was the straight whiskey. You can find that in most places in like the $40 to $50 range.
That's not bad. And for this, So this would be on that upper end because it's a yearly
I
special release.
there were 1,052 bottles of this produced,
So
very
once it's
limited.
gone, it is gone.
Yes.
Now, for those that are looking for something down the road that you guys might be able to, tease some of the bourbon lovers, anything you can tease us with?
Yeah. So we are actually working on a new product, which will be available sometime next year. That is designed for on-premise, and that's all I can really say about that. Also, we launched our single barrel program last year, and we've put out some really cool single barrels this year. It's really store dependent, but on our website, obviously, you can find those single barrel picks. And we've got some cool rye stuff coming down the pipeline too. So,
I love that, man.
Yeah.
Scott, thanks for sharing the drink. Thanks
Absolutely.
for sharing the story with me.
Yeah.
And man, this is some good stuff. I appreciate it.
Thanks, man. Hey, nice seeing you.